All right, thank you for tuning in to part 2 of how to import a JDM car into the United States legally. So, last video we talked about how to find the car, how to find an exporter, and how to store the car for a few years before it gets here. That way you could save a little bit of money. So this right here is my Honda Integra Type R 1996. Just got here about a month ago or two. And I went through a lot to get this car here. I went through a lot. And I'm going to talk about that right now because the import process I think was the most annoying process out of all of this. So you know what, let me stop talking, let's get into it. All right, so your car is sitting overseas. You don't know how it's going to get here, how long it's going to take, and what to do once it's here. So for starters, like we mentioned in the previous video, this car's got to be cleaned before it shows up in the US. Because customs is not going to like to see a dirty car. And if you ever think about it this way, have you ever seen a imported JDM car that was right-hand drive in America that looked dirty? Think about that. They're all clean. And the reason for that is because customs doesn't like dirty cars. It has to be clean, there can't be any dirt on it or anything. So just remember that. Number 2, the car's got to be put on what is known as a ro-ro ship. So this is basically like roll on, roll off. So the car basically is driven onto a boat and then driven off. It's not put into a container because containers are expensive. Don't go that route unless you have like a $200,000 GTR or NSX Type R. It's just not a good idea. It costs too much money. It's pointless. The plus to that though is you can put a bunch of parts in there. In ro-ro shipments for these cars or for any car, you cannot store anything in this car. So parts, money, nothing could be kept in the car at all. However, what I did notice with my car, which was I thought really bizarre, is that my car had like a cup holder thing and like a GPS in it still because the adhesive was so strong, so they couldn't take it off and they didn't want to damage my dash. So they put my cup holder in the glove box, which I thought was very funny. So the car is now on the boat, it's coming here. Oh my God, what do you do, right? Like what's the process from here? Like what do you do? So nobody's really gonna walk you through this part. Nobody talks about this part actually really on YouTube at all. So this is another pro tip. Nobody is gonna help you when it comes time to import this car. If you want to import this car by yourself, it's a bad idea, don't do it. What you're going to do is you're going to reach out to Garage Defend and he's going to basically recommend that you go through what is known as an import broker. So this import broker essentially does all the paperwork for you when the car gets here. You're going to get an import broker and you're going to receive 2 things in the mail. Number 1, you're going to receive the bill of lading, which basically proves that you own the car and that you're here to pick it up at the port. And you're going to get an export certificate, which is the actual title, which is, also going to be proof that you own the car. Actually, that's probably going to be the main source that shows that you own the car. So hold on to those things. So you got an import broker. Now it's time to have them do all the paperwork for you. You're going to have to sign a power of attorney so they can fill out some paperwork for customs so you can get your car without having to get, fines. Because if you don't pick up the car at the port within a certain time, you get fined. So basically, they're going to handle all the difficult stuff for you. It's going to cost about under $1,000 if your car cost was below like $15,000. It shouldn't cost more than $1,000, guys. Don't be so alarmed. It cost like 800 and some change for me to import this car, and that was with all of the fees added onto this car. So now that you have your car at the port, it's time to figure out how you're going to go get it. So I got a U-Haul truck and a U-Haul trailer, and I basically headed straight for the port. But here's the thing, you can't just pull up to the port, get your car and leave. You have to hire what is known as a TUIC escort. So they're going to be the ones that escort you onto the port and just make sure you don't do anything stupid. That's basically what they do. So when it's time to go get your car, you have to first stop there. And once all of your paperwork's filled out, by the way, you can head for the port. Now, I'm going to put all of the required documents that you need below because I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about what you need to do with those papers when you get to the port, because it's very important what you do there. And if you don't do what I'm about to tell you, you're going to have a bad day at the DMV. So you got your papers, you got everything. The TUIC escort cost about $65, $70 for me for about an hour at the port. You're going to show up at the port, and it's going to be about, let's say, it was only, the TUIC place was only about 10 minutes away, so we drove there. I followed my escort, and we pulled up at this gate, and at this gate, they're going to ask you for your driver's license, and you're going to need to take pictures, and in the building, they're going to ask you for some paperwork, and then your escort's going to give you what is known as a gate pass. This gate pass is very important. Don't lose it, because several people are going to ask you for it in the port. So be prepared to show it like you show, like your gate pass at an airport, because that's essentially what it is. So you're on the port with your trailer, you're heading there. Okay, so now you have to figure out where to go. So you're going to follow your escort, and most likely they're going to stop at some main building. And in this main building is very, very important, because in this building you have to go in there and you have to wait your turn, obviously, and then give them your papers. So your customs declaration, your customs forms, I don't even know what they were called, honestly. It was like a 35 something, a 3501 and a 7501 or something like that. You're going to bring those in, and your export certificate and everything, just give it all to them, okay? I gave it all to them, they stamped it, and I was about to leave, but I remember watching a video on YouTube. Actually, no, it was a blog post on Google, and his name was Goodzilla. I'm not sure why his name is that, but anyways, he mentioned that you have to get 2 forms of your import documents stamped by customs agents. So if you don't get those things stamped, you're not registering your car in the United States. You have to go back, get it stamped, and then go back to the DMV. So you get those 2 things stamped. She only stamped one of mine. I was about to leave, and I said, I think you're supposed to stamp this one too. She looked at it and said, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot about this one. And then stamped it, and I was on my way. So that was kind of annoying. They should have known. But after that, I went to this other building, and I showed them my papers and showed them what was stamped. They looked over it and said, okay, this car is in lot ZZ26 or something like that. So I had to go to this lot, and I had to follow my escort again, and I had to go get the car. So I went to go get the car, and I saw it. I saw it like alongside all these other cars. Another Integra Type R was there. R33 was there, Supras, and some like K trucks. So I got in my car, turned the key, didn't start. And I was just like, oh my God, I just paid all this money. I can't get my car. So I had to ask my escort. I was like, hey, do you have jumper cables, by the way? And she said, nope. And I was like, well, wow, why are you here? Like, you're so useless. So then I had to go back into the building and ask them for jumper cables. And they said, nope, we don't have jumper cables. And then he paused for like five seconds and was like, yeah, we could send somebody out for you though. So they send somebody out to come help me with my car, this dude with like a AAA truck, and he had jumper cables in the back. He opens my hood and says, cute battery. And then he just clicks on the jumper cables, the car starts right up, and then I drive it onto my trailer, and then off we were to the exit of the port. However, I forgot to mention, when you're in that building where they got to stamp your paperwork, you have to show your gate pass. If you don't show your gate pass, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I didn't have mine on me. My brother had it, and they asked me, and I was like, crap, I think I left it in the car. So then he just showed it, and then I guess she did whatever with it, and then gave it back. So now you're leaving the port. It's time to leave. You got your car. You're all excited. So when you leave, they're going to ask you for what? Your gate pass. So you got to give that gate pass right back, and then you can be on your way back to your house, because you can't drive the car, obviously, because, well, you didn't register it yet. So now we're going to talk about how to get this car of yours registered. So getting this car registered was a pain in the butt. I hate the Maryland DMV for this, or I should say MVA. You know, in New Jersey we say DMV, but here, you know, DMV is MVA. It's really stupid. So I hate the MVA here. It's trash. They really gave me a hard time importing this car or registering this car. So I'm going to talk about that right now. So I had all my paperwork. I had the car insured by Geico. I did not go through Hagerty. Do not go through Hagerty if you can. Go through Geico. It's just simple. It's cheaper actually. The thing about Hagerty that nobody talks about is that Hagerty charges you a year. They charge you like for a full year to own the car up front. You can't do monthly payments, which is stupid. You should be able to do monthly payments on a car insurance note or car insurance payment, whatever it's called, because paying for a full year is just ridiculous. It's like $500-600, and that was me, like, you know, playing with the numbers, trying to get like, you know, like $4,000 for an Integra Type R, and that's how I got $600. But if I put it in the actual amount for this car, it was like way more expensive, and that's not even for full coverage. So why would I do that? On top of that, if you go through Hagerty, you do need a garage like this, fully enclosed. Actual garage, not a canopy. No, that's not acceptable. So that's something to take into consideration. Yes, you can register, or yes, you can insure this car with regular car insurance companies, because I did, and they didn't really give me a problem at all. So the main thing that's going to give you an issue is the DMV or the MVA. So you have to get all your paperwork and take it to the DMV, and this is COVID time, so we have to file an appointment and go to the MVA or DMV and wait your turn. So it took me 3 visits to the MVA to get plates for this thing. 3 visits. So the first visit, I show up, have all my paperwork here, got all my paperwork, and I say, hi, I'm here to import a gray market vehicle, and yeah, that's it. I'm just here to title and register a gray market vehicle. And she said, okay, sure. Do you have all your shipping documents? I said, yep, here you go. I showed her my shipping documents. She looked through it. She's like, okay. And then she's like, hold on 1 second, I'll be right back. So then she went to the back to go show somebody else, because she clearly had no idea what she was looking at. So she comes back and says, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to need this export certificate translated. Now mind you now, the export certificate, it already has a translation on it, but they wanted like everything translated, because the whole entire back of the translation was all in Japanese. But you know, what do they need that information for? It's like literally just a bunch of nonsense. But you need the front and the back translated by an official, like, translator for the embassy. But for some reason, I didn't need that. They gave me a list of people to get my export certificate translated for. So here is the person I went through. I told her I was going to give her a recommendation. And this is Murasaki Editing and Translation, I believe. So here is her website. Just go there if you want to get your export certificate translated, because you're going to need to get that done. Everybody says that you have to get this translated. I figured if I had a somewhat translated copy from the shippers, that it was going to be okay, but as always, didn't work. So she gave me a fast pass to come back the next day, which is very nice. I got my export certificate translated the next day, and I showed up, and I gave them all my paperwork again, and this time they looked through it. They're like, okay. Is this translation by a certified translator from the embassy? I was like, nope, but it is from somebody that the MVA approved. So here you go. I don't know why you're trying to give me a hard time. So I gave it back to her, and then she just kind of gives me a look like that, and then looks back at it, and then starts flipping through all the other paperwork, and we're getting everything done. She's faxing everything. I'm like, yes, I did it. 2 tries. That's awesome. And then she says, where's your bill of sale? And I say, well, I didn't really get a bill of sale, but this is the bill of sale. And she looks at it and she says, oh, this is no good. Oh, it has to be in US dollars. It has to be translated, because the Stan, he filled out my invoice originally in Japanese yen. So she was like, this has to be translated. And I was like, what? Since when does a bill of sale have to be translated? It doesn't have to be translated, actually. If you go onto the Maryland website, it just says you need a bill of sale. It doesn't say anything about translating Japanese yen into US dollars, even though it literally takes a simple Google search to just type that in. So I don't know why she was giving me a hard time. But anyways, I was like, okay, well, can I just type in the number and show you? And she's like, nope, it has to be done by him. So I was like, okay, well, I do have a translated copy of my invoice that I got from the person that I bought the car from. So I showed her that, and she was like, nope, it has to be through the person that shipped you the car. It can't be through the dealer. So I said, okay, well, they're in Japan right now, so how am I supposed to do that? And she said, well, he's going to have to fax it in. The guy from Japan is going to have to fax a new bill of sale that's translated to the Maryland Motor Vehicle Agency, and you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't print it out. And I said, what? Why not? You know, like, why can't I do that? Nope, it has to, because it just has to be through him. Because it just has to be. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to argue today. Give me back my paperwork. I'm going to go somewhere else. So they give me back all my paperwork. I go to the headquarters down in Glen Burnie, much nicer people. I got my bill of sale translated. Thank you to Stan for that, by the way. That was a big help. I showed them all my documents. They were like, cool, you got everything filled out? Sweet, you got all your documents in line? Cool, here you go, here's your plates. And on top of that, I had to pay 6% of what I paid for this car and 2.5% import duty tax for customs. So that's 8.5% in taxes just to get this car here. That's pretty much the process, guys. I got historic plates on this car because I'm not getting it inspected. Maryland inspection, as you guys all know, is notorious for being terrible. It's similar to that of Shocken, if you guys know what Japanese inspection Shocken is like. They check everything. They check your headlights, they check your mirrors, they check your seat belts, they check your rubber pedals, they check everything. So I was not doing that. I've had historic plates on my cars for the past 4 or 5 years, and I don't plan on ever getting regular plates again. So that's the process of importing a JDM car into the United States. Hope you guys found this informative. This is a lot, it's a big video, I know, but it's very important that I talk about what exactly I struggled with so that way it doesn't happen to anybody else that comes across this video. So with that said, I hope you guys found this informative. I hope it answered all of your questions. If you have any more questions, please comment down below or just message me on Instagram right here. And I will catch you guys in the next one.